So welcome again. So as we go around, in addition to your sweet words, if you have any topics that you would like to talk about today, please share those. So I'll get started. I'm Susan Walker of the world. And my sweet memory is this little foster kitty here, big foster kitty here that's in my home now, Mr. Tiago, and his sweet, sweet purrs. So I will turn it over to Sarah Hardy.
Hi guys, good to see everybody. I'm Sarah Hardy, and like 4 more weeks with Rosemont Apple Valley Egan 196. And my sweet memory was that on this day, you know how your pictures come up, on this day in 2016, I walked through graduation to get my master's degree from the U of M. And that was a really big deal for me. So
Sarah, and I believe you were holding the sign, if I remember correctly.
I got to hold the sign. That's right. Such an honor. So fun. Such a rush. Such a great day. Nancy Trahey, you want to go next?
Sure. Oh, I didn't change it to my district. So I'm Nancy Trahey, and I'm on a home computer. But I am a parent educator for Albany School District 745. I'll change that. And I turn it over to Nikki.
Hello, I'm Nikki Murphy, Robbinsdale, Parent and Family Education. And I shared my sweet thing in the chat that I subbed for a colleague today who was getting her master's. So I think that's how we got onto that topic. And so she's graduating from the U of M today, and it's super exciting. She's been licensed forever and ever and ever. And now she's got the license, or sorry, the master's part of it. And I will go to Becca.
And I'm a parent educator in Maplewood. And my happy thing was that today after my infants class, okay, so we had 24 families enroll in the infant class last fall. And so we ended up splitting it into 2 sessions, and we actually kind of have a long-term sub who's doing the one section with the babies who were 4 months and up back in September, and I had the brand new babies. So it's been an amazing year. It's my first time teaching infants, and I've loved it. And one of the moms in the other section who hasn't ever been in my class, I helped one-on-one at one point. And after class today, she popped into my room as I was cleaning up, and she was like, "This is kind of awkward, but do you know what classes you'll be teaching next year?" And I was like, "No, we don't find out until right before the school year starts." She's like, "Oh," because she, I guess, knows a few people who are in some of my classes, and I've worked with her one-on-one before. And she was like, "I just really wanted to sign up for one of your classes." So it was a really awful week, and that kind of was a really nice way to end it. Okay, let's see, Carissa.
Carissa Waite, Mounds View, parent educator. Trying to think of a sweet thing. Well, with Teacher Appreciate, not necessarily exactly today, although we got chocolate today. With Teacher Appreciation Week, our advisory council has been doing lunches, which has been very sweet and lovely. And they did some really cute banners with kids tracing their hands. And I go between 2 sites, and thankfully lucked out this year and was at the first site when they had their lunch, and then the second site when they had their lunch. Usually it's the other way around, and I miss everything. So it's been a nice week for some extra little treats. Yuji.
I think you're still muted.
Usually we can't hear you, hon.
Can you hear me now? Hi, I'm Yuji. I work for Family Kind Parent Education Department in New York. So a sweet thing is I just had a meeting with a friend, pronounced they, and so I learned so much by having this interaction with they. and it had been a very good challenge. I made mistakes and we had had some, but today we just united again, talked and planned for. It's just so nice. So that is my sweet for today. So I would go Larray.
Hi, Yuji. Hi, everybody. I'm Larray Dufresne, and retired parent educator from Wilmer, moving to the Twin Cities next week. And I have a little encore career as a massage therapist. And my client canceled today, so I could come to, because I didn't think I'd be able to check in before we were moving. And my sweet thing is I'm in that process of a lot of goodbyes, and people are so generous with their kindness, and just that I'm going to be missed. And one of my ECFE moms, her little girl was in tears because she's 8 now, but we've stayed connected. And I just don't think we realize that even when it's little minutes of time that we don't spend tons of time with the kids. I babysat for them one night, and you build those connections. So, but the exciting part is she's having her kids come and do a camp at the Works in Bloomington, and they're going to come and stay at my house. Oh, sorry. Naomi, have you gone?
Hi, I'm Naomi Husso from Wayzata Public Schools. My Friday crew is the highlight of my day, or my week, I should say. I have awesome classes this year, but my Friday crew just it was 15 minutes left of parent ed, and I was like, we should probably get to topic, maybe. But anyways, one of my moms, just as they were walking out today, just told me how much she enjoys class and enjoys our time together. So that was just a nice little boost to a very long week. Katie.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Katie Anderson from Jordan. I'm the parent educator here in the ECFE program. And I think it was Tuesday after class, one of the little siblings was kind of standing there by his mom, and I just kind of bent down and I said, "Did you have fun with Miss Gloria today, the one that does the sibling care?" And he just kind of smiled and just kind of came in for a big hug. And it took me kind of by surprise, but it was the sweetest thing. I just love that when that happens. So that was very nice. And I wanted to quickly ask Susan, how's your foster kitty doing? You mentioned that you were getting a new foster cat, and I have a heart for those animals too, so I've been thinking about that. How's it going?
Oh, just very briefly, he's amazing. He's just a tub of love, I tell you. He's I call him Cuddles because he's an amazing kitty. He really is, and he just fits in here beautifully. And I sent a picture to somebody yesterday from the rescue. I said, sadly, it's not working out. And there was a picture of him on top of the couch and my pug, just on the couch, and then me, right? And so we're just all chilling here. So thank you for asking, Katie.
I love it. That's so great. Okay, let's see. Sarah, have you gone? You have? Okay. Nancy? Is everybody good? Has anybody not gone? Oh, Michelle? Okay, go ahead. You got to unmute, Michelle.
Okay, hi. I'm Michelle Mergler. I'm a parent educator in West St. Paul and Egan and Mendota Heights. So it's 197. And my little great thing that happened today, we have a great class on Friday also, like the other parent educator had mentioned, and it's just, it's an art adventures class. So it's not where I separate to do parent education. And so we had just the funnest time with bubble wrap and a whole bunch of fun things this morning, but I got 2 hugs. You know, the parent educators don't always get the hugs like the early childhood teachers. So I got 2 hugs this morning. So that really brightened my day. It was really great to get some hugs from little ones as they were leaving because they had such a great time. So that's my great thing for today. Let's see, who else?
Ellen?
Ellen.
Hey, everybody. Ellen Hafner. I'm in Northfields, parent education. Sweet thing this week, I got a hug from a parent today. She's leaving. I don't want her to leave. Some of you may recall this was a mom who had a baby 6 months ago. She struggles. Her sister committed suicide almost 3 years ago. She's helping raise her niece. And she also attempted to end her life while she was hospitalized after her baby was born. So this mom, she's had a rough go. And she's leaving because she's opening her own childcare. I have feelings about that too. Like, I just wish that she could just be a mom. But anyway, so she's opening up next Monday, so she won't be able to come to class, but she's like, maybe I can come to an evening class, or maybe I can come to the, special events. I'm like, yeah, that'd be great. But, just sad to see her go, because she needs a lot of care. And I just hope that she gets that. Hope she gets that. So, but it was nice to get a hug anyway. So, who has not gone? Anybody?
Maybe raise your hand if you haven't gone.
I think everybody has gone.
All right.
Yeah. Carissa, you went. That's right. Yes, you've gone. Yes, good. So is there anything in particular you'd like to talk about or ask the group today?
I kind of do.
Okay.
I'm wondering if any of you have ever had a challenging parent who made you feel really personally attacked, and to the point of maybe harassment. But I suddenly have that situation this week. It was super fun, and I'm dreading going back on Monday. But I'm just curious if you've had any problematic parents in that way.
Can you expand on that, Becca? Like, what are they actually attacking?
It might be that I'm overly sensitive and feeling attacked. But this week, my topic was parents as sexuality educators, which can be a controversial topic. I always save it for towards the end of the year so that we've developed as much safety and trust and relationship as possible. And the foundation of my lesson, really the heart of it is, it's important to talk to your kids. Saying nothing teaches something. And this is a way to share your values, right? Like that's the heart of my lesson. I don't ever tell families what those values should be at all. And at the very end of my Monday lesson, I shared a book recommendation, which I wholeheartedly support. It's not The Stork. It's a fantastic book. And as I was sharing about how you pick resources to use with your kids, how important it is to read everything first, make sure that things align with what it is you want to teach your kids. And I used my book as an example of like, this is a fantastic book. But if you're wanting to teach your kids about gender issues beyond boy and girl, this book doesn't have that, right? Like it's just very binary. I don't even think I used the word binary, but this is at the very, very end of class said, this book does not have that. And the pamphlet I put together like a booklet handout. It's my biggest print job of the year. That is all from Family Tree Clinic. And everybody gets that little packet when they go, which is a fantastic resource. I got my first email from this mom later that afternoon asking me to email her the pamphlet. And I said, I'm so sorry, I only have this paper copy. I try to have as many things electronically as possible, but I can set aside a paper copy for you next week. And she's like, don't worry about it. She had put it in her folder. I do folders for them, and she had left it at school. But so she's like, I'll just get it next week. I was like, okay. Then she emailed again. She's like, one quick question. Lies. There was nothing quick about it. And this mom is extremely conservative and started going off the rails because I had mentioned the word gender, like just saying gender, and requiring me to defend myself. Each email, I probably got about 15 emails. I responded to some of them, not all of them. Each one got a little bit more heated, and you know, big, huge social issues, and the fact that I used resources from Family Tree Clinic, and they support mutilating children's bodies and abortions. Like, I mean, like, this woman was very strong, and all public school teachers are liberal, and it's an unhealthy bias, and how can you teach this like this? And I was kind of blown out of the water because I had actually defended this mom during class on Monday because as some people were sharing their values, she talked about waiting for marriage for sex and being one of her family values. And one of the other moms right away started to kind of be like, well, then what happens if your kid has sex before they're married, or they're not going to come to you if you know, and I made it clear, it's just like, you don't lie about your values in order to hope that your kid will talk to you. It's like, no. And I said, your underlying should always be unconditional love, regardless, that you will always love your child no matter what. But it's important to share your genuine values with your children. So I was defending this very conservative mom who I don't see eye to eye with, probably on almost anything. And she did not see that at all. She just, the idea that I mentioned anything beyond boy and girl. And honestly, I was saying it was not in the book I was recommending. Just that it sent her off the rails. And the amount of emails, I finally on Wednesday decided to stop responding, which was hard for me. And but I felt like if I wasn't willing to argue, like that if I'm not going to change her mind on anything, I also don't feel like I did anything wrong. I know I didn't do anything wrong. My lesson's excellent. I wasn't going to get into a debate with her. So I had sent her an email saying, I'm not going to debate this. You know, if you have, and I had talked to my boss, let her know what was going on. And I was like, if you have further concerns, you can direct them to Tracy. You know, it's just like, and she still like sent another one saying, so are you not going to answer my questions? Like she would not let it go.
Becca, could you have had your coordinator step in? I feel like I would have had my coordinator step in.
She's out of town for the week.
I would have said, you know what? I would have not let it get past 5 emails. Like, and I'd have been like, you know, this is what I teach. Just because you don't, your values don't align with this, you know, it doesn't make it not exist. And if you have concerns, please speak to my coordinator and be done. Because,
well, and I haven't emailed back since when she asked, so are you not going to respond? I did send a final one saying, no, I'm not going to. If you want to talk more, you need to talk to Tracy. But I am dreading class on Monday because this is someone who took this tiniest thing. Like, yes, talking about sexuality can be a controversial topic, but the class had not been controversial, and she found a way to make it so. I did feel a little bit better when my boss had looked up, the name sounded familiar, and sure enough, 3 years ago, she did this to another parent educator, and she actually took it to the superintendent. So this is a woman with an agenda and she's the type of person who's like getting on school boards to change curriculums. Like she's got a very clear agenda. So I don't know. I don't know what. I only have 2 weeks of class left, but it was a super stressful week. And then on the home front, I was getting similarly attacked. We have a really challenging neighbor with an extraordinarily challenging kid, and getting accused of my kid's bullying, which from what I can see is not what's happening. So I felt defensive all week, and I was like, of course, this is Teacher Appreciation Week and Mother's Day when I feel like I'm being attacked for who I am as a teacher and as a mother. So it's been a super hard week, but I just don't know if anyone else has had it get to where they feel like attacked personally, and how to move forward really is my question, because I feel like what I've done so far, I was able to keep it very professional. I didn't stoop to the level. I didn't get dirty in an argument. I was able to keep things super like supportive and encouraging to her even when I was being attacked. So I feel really good about, like, even if she did screenshot everything and send it to the superintendent, I would feel good about everything I did. So I don't feel bad about anything I've done so far. I just like, how do I do Monday?
I would just say, you know what? I feel like we've discussed, if she brings it up, say, we've discussed this. I'd like to move on. We have a new topic today, and let's talk, like, set a firm boundary. Like, we're done talking about it. I'm done. And you can just say, I explained myself, and it's my job to get information out about all kinds of people to all kinds of people. And this conversation is done, and I'm moving on. And if she can't let it go, that's on her. That's not on you. And also, you know, this did not happen to me. But I had a friend who was doing a parent group. Like, it was through another program, and a parent got off the rails. And she said, if you're not willing to participate respectfully in this conversation, you're welcome to go. And that person did leave. So it was like a middle school support kind of group thing. And and she was like, you can stay if you're going to be respectful. But if you're not going to be respectful, then we're going to ask you to leave. It's your choice. And that person left. So not saying that she has to leave, but also just being like, I think we've hashed this enough. Let's move on to a new topic and just end it. Cause she clearly is not going to end it ever. She'll talk about it. She'll beat that horse until it's very, very pulpy. So that's what I would do to protect yourself and the class.
Becca, I was going to comment. I'm sorry that is something that you're navigating, because I'm glad that you're here, because I think we all can feel the emotion behind it. And oh my goodness, you are amazing. And of course, everything that you're presenting is what we hope ECFE parent and family educators would present. I will say with that topic, I always share I think it depends on the district, right? But my school district's unified district vision is very clear about our beliefs as a district. And so I always share that. And what I say is, there are a lot of beliefs out there in our community, but I am going to be sharing what is in alignment with our district's practices, because your children are going to be moving through our schools, and this is what they are going to be. This is the philosophy of our school, and this is our unified district vision. And so I share that because I'll sometimes comment, like, here we are in Minnesota, and honor that people have different thoughts. If it was in a different state, the unified district vision might look different, but this is where we are. And I'm just presenting it as this is our philosophy here. And so I'm with everybody else. Like, I think I would be done too. Like, I'm not talking about this anymore. But if there was a one more thing that, a coordinator was going to say, or that you felt you were going to say, I might have it be that, like, we don't see eye to eye, but this is the philosophy that our district puts forward.
That's super helpful, Nikki.
I think
I know that I align, but I haven't like looked it up and printed it out and given it to her. And so to feel like girding my loins, having that with me on Monday, just as backup, I think will really be helpful, because that also allows me to push it off of me more and be like, go talk to the superintendent, be my guest. You know, this is what we've decided as a district. So that's helpful. Thank you, Nikki.
I think that's excellent, Nikki. And the thing that I do, and I wish now that I had done what you did, was say, I'm going to bring you guys up to speed on what your pediatricians are going to talk about, because if you look at healthychildren.org, that's the content essentially that we're talking about here. And it is all about gender, and there's a lot about gender on there. So that is sort of like the backstop that I've used, but it's better. Nikki's is better, I think, even than that, but you have them both.
And I just, my heart goes out to you, Becca, because it's just so hard when your heart is, you were working so hard at doing the right thing. And then it's like, you know, you're being a good girl and you're getting punished. It's not fair.
And it's so hard to not share any of my personal values, but I didn't. I was like, it's not about me. So,
yeah.
so I
But
didn't.
it sounds like you just handled it so professionally, and just know, I'm just thinking of the other parents in the room that may already have a child who's expressing things differently. They've got a sister or a brother. Like, there are people who needed to hear that message. And like, we have to keep being the ones to do that, you know? And so that, like, if you can keep releasing and letting go, because it's so unfair how our brains hook on the negative and that one mom. And if you can look at all of the others who are ready to talk about this with their kids, who are ready to accept the neighbor and the child down the street, and maybe this woman's child when they're in high school, you know, like, if we can focus on the rest of the village.
Yeah.
Because it is so ripe right now for those conversations. And many of the young people that I know are like, they want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because their parents didn't talk about it, their grandparents, nobody else has talked about it. And we're the first safe place is ECFE. And thankfully, I've had more families that have thanked me for bringing up that kind of a hard subject. But I'm sure that I just dodged a bullet, because we're still in a very divided country.
Yeah.
And so it's like bound to happen when these subjects come up, but we're cheering for you.
Totally.
Well, and something that I've said too is that, you know, I sneaked it in just right at the very end. And I said, because I did sexuality this week too. And at the very end, I'm like, if you have members in your family who are part of the LGBTQ community, I have some great books on that. He said, you don't have to come up with your own. I'm like, here are the books. And I show like, I have 2 or 3 books usually. And I say, because I say something like along the lines of, no matter where you lie in your values, I said, there are communities that exist outside who you may, socialize with. I said, but your children will have teachers who are in the LGBTQ community in this school district. Your child will have classmates who are non-binary as early as 5th grade. I said, so it's and younger, right? So I just say, this is coming.
Yeah, I have a first cousin who I'm close with who is transgender, and a dear friend whose little one has struggled, would probably be the right word, with their gender from the time they were 3 or 4 years old, and is kind of gender fluid. So, like, people I love have this, so it's hard not to take it personally. I could tell from the way she was going that it's not personal. Like, I think she actually likes me, and she just has a really big agenda. But, you know, we talk in my classes a lot, or reflect a lot, I should say, on our families of origin and how they impact the way we think and feel and behave as adults, and specifically in our parenting. But I know for me, like, I was so raised to be a people pleaser. So having someone upset with me in some way, it doesn't seem to matter that my brain knows I did everything right.
Oh, no.
Like my body is just hurting. Like I trying to deal with the, like, someone doesn't like me or whatever.
One thing, so I can so relate alongside you with that, the pleasing part, Becca. And I'm sitting here thinking about all this and I'm feeling angry with that mom. But then I come through that to, wow, you know, that level of rigidity and that intensity of fear in someone causes me to pretty quickly, because I'm not in the situation, come around to compassion for her. I'm like, oh, honey, you know, it doesn't have to be that hard. Like, are you okay? Right? Is what I want to ask her. And so I'm wondering if maybe part of the flipping towards self-compassion and then also compassion outward to her might help you feel better about walking into that building on Monday. Just softened a little bit, like, ooh.
I did try to start things from that perspective. Like, I told her how much I appreciated that she felt safe with me and that she was vulnerable.
Yeah, but she violated all that.
Care.
She's it's, you know, it's not a healthy thing that's going on there with her. Like, as far, like, from my point of view, which is, I don't know her, so whatever that's worth, but, you know, like, that level of intensity and rigidity around this stuff is just really, it's a tough path. It's a tough path, especially as a parent.
Becca, I thought of one other thing, and this is more from my massage therapy hat, is I've just been so much more aware of how we hold stress in our bodies. And like, so you have taken this on physically, like we all do. And so I mean, we do it with our littles when we try and take dance breaks or things like that. But like, I just want to encourage you to, you know, like, I've heard of things where, like, you write stuff on tape on the bottom of your shoe and then go jogging, and it can get all of the things like rigidity and whatever words you want. But even, you know, jumping jacks, dancing, because I feel like we can even see it in you, like you're holding that stress in, and we want you to, I just think there's so much more power in physically releasing and letting go than I ever knew. And that's one of the biggest things that I've tried to share with parents, and feel like that's, again, what we've learned a lot more about is how do we release this stress from our bodies?
Thank you. That's an awesome suggestion. I should definitely do that.
So I have a question for Becca and for us. So do your districts help invite you know, some people come in to present workshops related to these topics, like LGBTQ topics? No?
We invite My Health, which is an organization in the West Metro. And so I don't actually teach this topic. I have My Health come in and they share their stuff. Last year we had a parent who did not sit in on the discussion, but the handouts were sent out electronically and she took it from there. And this sounds very similar to your circumstances, Becca. But the district uses this organization for all of their levels of education around the topic. And so again, all in a district alignment, but our district has a group of parents that are trying to get on our school board to change the district in that way.
Susan, could we
Yeah, I think if, you know, this trigger.
Susan, can we stop recording for a moment? Yeah, keeping it safe is a big piece of why we need to have this topic.
Hear, hear.
We can move on to something else. Thank you so much, Nikki, for posting the link to my own district. And I do my Friday class is like the best class ever, and so it's a nice way to end the week. And I do really appreciate all your feedback.
You know, I almost wonder if there's some sort of self-selection with Friday classes, because I've talked to so many parenting educators, and also when I was doing the dog and pony show for Parentopia and stuff, the Friday classes, man, they were always so chill, so, you know, comfortable. They were, you know, really engaged, really supportive of each other. So maybe it has something to do with, you know, end of the week let down or something like that. So
I had Fridays off when I started my career in parent ed, in this district at least. And then one year they changed it because they started another class and I was so ticked. And then I got my first class and I was like, oh, this isn't so bad.
So we've got like 10 minutes left. Does anybody else have a topic you want to ask about, or announcements or anything?
What about Nikki's topic with, it just seems unfair, Nikki, about
Yeah.
student teaching?
The answer that we received, so I've had over the years that I've been in PE, three or four teacher candidates, and we didn't have an issue in the past. And so a year ago I had one, and we did not get our stipends, which, you know, it's not why we do it, but it is, I think, a nice thing. And I think it's an important thing because it is an acknowledgement of the professionalism and the time and the commitment. And I think it needs to be paid. I think it's an important thing, even though it's a small thing. And so what we were told was that it has to do with our own district's contract. The U of M said that at the end of the experience, they said, fill out this sheet and give it back to us. And if you happen to be, and mark your district. And if you happen to be one of these districts, it said that it has to go through HR. They don't just send you your stipend. It has to go through your district's HR. And mine was listed, and I had never seen that before. And it was a sheet that I don't recall having given back in the past, but that was the response that we got then later, was that when they tried to process it through HR said that the requirement is over 100 hours, which the PE is 100, and that I couldn't get it. And it was like, it just is beyond me. And I don't know how widespread this is or how many districts have this in their teacher's contract, that the student teaching has to be over 100 hours, or it's 150 hours for a lot of programs. But if that's the case, I think it is a disrespectful thing on behalf of just in general what's going on, but disrespectful toward those that the professionals who are taking on and mentoring the future of our field. I just find it to be problematic, and I hope that it doesn't deter future PEs from taking on those teacher candidates.
So
I'll just
Nikki, is
throw
it
in
your district that said no, or is it the you that said no?
My district said that our teacher contract requires that they don't pay until it's like 100, or that our teachers are not going to receive it if it's not 150 hours. And
Gives the stipend. Where does the stipend come from?
The U of M. Mm-hmm.
Nikki, is your department on the master teacher contract?
Yes.
So that might be,
that's why it's an issue.
Yeah, so that might be something to pass along to your negotiators as an issue, so that they are aware. They might not in general be aware.
Yeah, and that is what ultimately needs to happen, is that it needs to get changed in the master teacher contract per our field. But I'm just curious how many master teacher contracts look like this, and how many districts the U of M is having trouble paying through to their cooperating teachers.
Well, that list they shared with you might be a place to, if you're wondering which ones, I don't know, maybe you want to know more about who doesn't have it on their master teacher contract or who was successful in removing it maybe.
Yeah, I was just going to throw in that parenting educators are considered a non-conventional license program and by the state, and just that parity with other teachers. So if you're on a master teacher contract, you know, what I'd be really curious is if there's some science teacher out there who is getting the honorarium, but is doing it less than 100 hours, right? So is it somehow singling out, you know, ECFE parenting education? And then the flip side, and this is what I recommended to Nikki, when I have absolutely no involvement with the U anymore, is to maybe talk with the program, because there may be a different way that they can still get you the honorarium or the stipend because you should be, right? I mean, and the point being, oh, you tried, yeah, okay. The point that you don't want to lose parenting educators because to do supervision or cooperating teacher status because of this is so important. Oh my gosh. Any of you have gone through the program, like there's the book learning, the academic part of it, right? The theory, you know, creating curriculum plans and stuff, but it ain't nothing like the practical experience that you get from student teaching, and then your continued experience. And especially with the other thing is the limits on the number of teachers that are now available and training and all of that. And then third, especially teachers of color and teachers out in the more rural parts of the state. And so anything that puts a chink in that pipeline of parenting educator preparation and quality preparation, this included, I think is absolutely critical to work through. So Nikki, I really, really, really appreciate your bringing this up. And I'm sorry that happened.
And to not find out until after the fact, that seems extra like shady. That's just not cool.
Yeah, we suggested just send it as a gift card, and actually our district did too. Our district told the U, put it straight to them as a gift card because we can't process it through us. And if they said, if you want to take care of this offline, you can. But I don't know why or what was on the U of M's and why they didn't do that. And my point was a few years ago during the pandemic, they had sent a gift card. So I know they have the capacity to do it because I think the U of M was seeking some extra opportunities for staff to do students to do observations because things were online and they were missing hours. And I handed over a file of recordings because I was doing a hybrid class, half the parents at home, half in the, and they were all talking to each other. And so that was going to count for their students. And as a gift, and I didn't really know work other than getting my participants to sign a release saying that they agreed to have me send these over to the U of M. And my district did a release too. And so I had done really nothing. And the U of M honored that with a gift card that I then turned back over to the district, but I didn't need to. We did some things with that in our own program because I thought that was really nice, and I hadn't really done a whole lot to get that, but I know that they have the capacity to give a gift card because of that experience. So yeah, it's an interesting thing, and I hope that it's not impacting a lot of us.
Nikki, is that in like the ECFE section of your master contract, or is that within the full master contract?
No, we don't have an ECFE section.
You guys are on, okay.
Sorry, there's just a contract and it applies to all licensed staff.
Well, thanks for bringing that up, Nikki. I'm sorry that that's going on. I'm not surprised that there's sometimes those administrative snafus, but it just isn't fair. And it's not going to change unless someone like you brings it up to, be a squeaky wheel. So here's the squeaky wheels everywhere. So thanks for doing that. All right, well, let's just close out then. We started with something sweet.
I have
Nancy.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Does this group meet during the summer months?
Mhm.
Okay, thank you. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, in general, we'll if I'm not going to be here, I'll let people know, and then but it doesn't mean the link is the link is the link, and I don't have to be here. The only thing I think that is different is I can record, and it's kind of cumbersome and stupid Zoom stuff for other people that are not hosts to record. But otherwise, I don't need to be here. And then in general, kind of what we've done is, we'll log in, and if after 10 minutes, there's nobody else there, we just stop, we just leave, right? So, but yeah, if you'd like, I can send out a little survey. You don't want me to do that though. It's just no more email. So, but, and you could do it. You could send something out to the Perfect Connections listserv and ask people if they plan to attend over the summer. But, I don't think we've had any issue in the past. That first summer, we were in fact, we were so active that first summer, pre-COVID, that, summer of 20, that we ended up doing it twice a week. Because there are enough people that wanted it a separate time to accommodate their schedule. So I think we were doing it Tuesdays and Fridays or something. So yeah. Yeah. Thank you for asking. Yeah. And also I did put in the chat the link to the retreat registration. I'm in discussions with the folks now at Prairie Oaks and about money. And so, but we are full up bed-wise on Thursday night, and we have 2 spaces left on Friday night. But as any of you who have been there, that it's just a beautiful, beautiful area for camping. Also camping in the granary, that big old building that is up there with the screened-in porch and stuff like that for a beautiful morning view. Anyway, so I will leave you with the thoughts of beautiful prairie grass and horses and chickens. So have a great week, everybody, and we will see you next week.